Good morning. This is for abnormal psychology class, and today we are discussing dyslexia. Dyslexia is a specific type of learning disorder in which individuals are unable to recognize words and comprehend what those words mean. It is estimated about 5 to 10% of the worldwide population has dyslexia, and it is more common in boys than girls. Girls do have issues with dyslexia, but it is more common for boys to have the issue. In simple terms, or simpler terms, when an individual has dyslexia, they are unable to read the words, or they read them backwards, or they can read letters backwards. In doing so, they will have to reread the words or sentences several times to fully understand what they're reading. A good example of this is like garbage and garage, for example, for a word. They may change the B to a G, or the G to a B, or it could be letters like B and D, because they are a lot alike and they just flip those words. Dyslexia is a very common learning disability that has been around for about 50 years, or over 50 years actually. Theories about dyslexia have changed over the years, but some people still hold some of those theories as truth. And a lot of it, they feel that children with dyslexia just are behavioral issues. They don't really stem from their learning, but it really does. Individuals who have dyslexia are prone to have self-esteem issues, anxiety, and depression, especially if they come from a home where their parents are not involved, or poor families. Dyslexia was first described in the scientific literature by several physicians who found cases of individuals with normal intelligence. So dyslexia does not affect a person's intelligence. It just affects their ability to read and understand or comprehend the words. And so when they found these individuals with the normal intelligence, they couldn't learn to read. Many cases were thought to be what they called word blindness, and one of the pioneers in the field was Orton, who believed that dyslexia was a visual perception and visual memory problem. Various theories, including hypotheses about motor difficulties and perceptual problems, are the basis for dyslexia, were advanced, and this idea of the perceptual problem stemmed from the idea of the word blindness, and is still held by many today. And with word blindness, it is not that they can't see the word, they just don't read the word correctly. It has nothing to do with their vision. Many individuals who have been diagnosed with dyslexia do have major self-esteem issues. They feel like they're stupid, that they can't learn, and so it does cause anxiety, depression, and they struggle to understand those words. It could be a whole paragraph that they're struggling with. It could be they're reading a paragraph and they read a line and they read another line and it doesn't make sense in the paragraph. So they go back and reread it. Well, the same sentence isn't there this time. So what happens is they jump to a different line in a different paragraph. So sometimes helping something to track that would be a positive way to help with that. These children also have maybe picked on in school, and this becomes a problem for them because it does impact their self-esteem. Their anxiety will kick up for tests, especially, but they have to read aloud in class. That can be cause for anxiety as well. Depression, they're more apt to drop out of school. They will be the C to D students. They'll try to hide the reading problem as long as possible. It's very doubtful that many will go to college, and if they do, most of them do not graduate. They'll be the quiet ones in school. They don't want to be in the front of the class. They don't want to be the front of the crowd. They don't want anybody to notice them. They hide because they're scared of what others will think of them, and most of the time they feel they are stupid and think others think they are stupid as well. Families and parents are a huge impact on those who have dyslexia. Parents who don't understand the problem because they don't have the issue of dyslexia, they don't know what the child is going through. Um, and if they do try to work with them and spend more time, if there's another child in the home, this could cause jealousy, and because the dyslexic child is getting more attention from the parents, which could then handle or cause more problems between the siblings, and the one who is dyslexic could be picked on by the other one and called names. So the best thing is to keep a stable family relationship between everyone in the family. It is very important that the parents are involved, engaged, active, um, and sadly, a lot of these kids come from homes that are poor, and the parents are busy. As I said earlier, dyslexia does not tie into one's IQ, and many are talented in sports, art, music, and dance. It has been found that children with dyslexia may be related. It may be related to their genetics, a brain injury, brain dysplasia, and that the home environment should also be considered when dealing with an individual with dyslexia. Children may resist learning or become anxious if there is a family dysfunction or parents that are too harsh on their children. It is found that dyslexia tends to run in families, so it is a genetic thing that many families will see continue on down the line. Parents who really push their student or their child to do really well in school and they don't, they're struggling and they don't get good grades, they may feel a lot more anxiety and depression will kick in. Their self-esteem will drop. They will think they're stupid, but they will continue to try. But the problem is the anxiety gets worse and worse, and then you have a bigger issue. It is important that dyslexia be it is important for dyslexia to have early intervention. The earlier you can catch someone with dyslexia, the better it is. You can start helping them. You're going to see a lot of this in schools with behavioral issues, or their writing is not legible, they're not understanding what they're reading. They want you to tell them or read to them. Some will do coping mechanisms so that they can get around it. They'll have somebody else read something to them. And so these are all warning signs that a child might have dyslexia. There is no real way to tell for sure what, other than doing some tests, if a child has dyslexia. But there's no brain scan or anything like that that can actually be a definitive answer or a definitive diagnosis of dyslexia in that way. Teachers need to be better trained. It's not the stereotypical view of dyslexics is that they're just a behavioral problem, and so, or they're lazy. And so with that, teachers need to look and really better understand how to see a child who is struggling with dyslexia. In total, 80% of all people diagnosed with a learning disorder are dyslexic. And there's a high rate of dyslexics in prison. Individuals who are struggling to read are labeled troublemakers. They have the attention deficit disorder. And teachers just aren't really trained how to spot the individuals or those who have signs of a learning disability. And so we need to do better with teachers to help them understand that. 85% of juvenile offenders have a learning disability, which then leads to higher rates of individuals who are in prison with dyslexia. So looking for the signs of struggling, the behavioral issues, the acting out, a lot of times it's to take focus off of the fact they can't understand and they can't read what is being said. We need to really work on doing better for those. Thank you.